Well, hello and welcome back to IO Football. I know it's been a while. This is the first video I've made since August, my Premier League predictions video. And yeah, I'm back with another predictions video. A lot of things have happened regarding, my setup, my Adobe that I used to edit and stuff like that. But I digress. We are here to make World Cup predictions. And the fact that I've actually found time to make these World Cup predictions, despite my schedule being so hectic with, college and final exams coming up, is an achievement in itself. So let's not waste any time. I'm going to go into my World Cup predictions. Alright, we're going to start with Group A. Qatar, Ecuador, Senegal, and the Netherlands. Now, coming into this World Cup, I've been banking on that Senegal will finish top of this group. But with Sadio Mane now being out of the World Cup, I think Senegal are going to be missing that little bit of cutting edge, and I think it will eventually cost them. So I'm going to go with the Netherlands to finish top. And although a lot of people, because of Sadio Mane's injury, have ruled out Senegal and said that Qatar or Ecuador will advance at their expense, I still believe in this Senegal team, which is still filled to the brim with a good amount of top-class players such as Edouard Mendy, who actually, to be fair, is not in the best form. Kalidou Koulibaly, you have players like Ismail Assar, Bamba Dieng. There's a lot of good players in that Senegal team, and I still think they'll come through and finish second. Now, Ecuador are a team that qualified from, South America. And South American teams that qualify are never to be underestimated, especially because of how competitive South America qualifying is. If there's one thing I've learned is that you never underestimate a South American team. But I think with Qatar being the host and the good record that host nations have, 4 out of the last 5 hosts, by the way, have advanced. South Africa was the only one that failed. And even then, they got 4 points, which in a lot of groups in the 2010 World Cup would have been enough to advance, and they beat finalist France. So they didn't advance, but they went out with dignity. So although I do think Qatar won't advance, they'll go out with some dignity and will finish third in the group. And I think Ecuador, there will be a couple good showings from them. We'll see what they really are about. They'll still finish last in this group. Now, Group B is a group that only your history teacher can dream of. England, Iran, US, Wales. The political conflicts in this group, I know one of my history teachers right now is salivating over this group. So, football-wise, how do I think this group is going to play out? Look, as much as the problems of the English national team in recent times have been well documented, they still have too much for everyone in this group. They should still finish on top. The England national team, I think they haven't won in 8 games, and they didn't win any of the games in the Nations League, and got relegated from the Nations League. And there have been many questions about Gareth Southgate, his team selection, anything like that. But there's still too much firepower in that England team to not finish top of this group. Second is going to be where it gets hard to decide. Iran have an absolutely blistering attack with the likes of Seyda Azmoun, Mehdi Taremi, and Alireza Jahanbakhsh. Those 3 in attack, they can cause some serious damage in this group. The U.S. obviously have stumbled upon a golden generation with players playing all across Europe like Christian Pulisic, Weston McKennie, Giovanni Reyna, Brendan Aronson, Tyler Adams. There are so many good players in that USMNT squad. The only question about that USMNT squad is their coach. Greg Berhalter is a terrible coach. I'm saying that as a USMNT fan. He is a terrible coach. He does not have any tactical nous in his body. The reason why Greg Berhalter has made it so far, well, first of all, he got the job because his brother is a higher up in the USMNT Federation. That's how he got the job. Nepotism is how Greg Berhalter got the job. But the reason why he's also lasted so long is because the individual talent of the USMNT has saved him time and time and time again. Will it happen again? Will he show up? Will he prove me wrong? I don't know. And obviously Wales. Wales, you can never count them out. That journey that they started under Gary Speed, RIP to him by the way, God rest his soul. That journey that started under Gary Speed to make the World Cup has finally culminated in the ultimate achievement that Wales were looking for. World Cup qualification, their first World Cup, and I think 64 years or something. It was 58 or 64. I do not remember. But all I'm saying is that the last person to score against Wales in the World Cup was Pele. Wait, so it has to be 1958. I don't think he played in the 62 World Cup. Anyway, I digress. It's been a long time since Wales won the World Cup. That's what I'm trying to say. But they're finally back. That jury started under Gary Speed has finally reaped the reward. And for someone like Gareth Bale, who is one of the best players of his generation, this is his first and last chance in a World Cup. Will we get a Gareth Bale masterclass? Will Wales show up in this tournament? They've shown up in almost every tournament they've been in. Euro 2016, they made the semifinals. They didn't qualify for the 2018 World Cup, but in Euro 2020, they made the round of 16 when many people thought they would finish last in their group. So who do I think is going to finish second? Who do I think is going to finish third? Who do I think is going to finish fourth and bottom of the group? Well, I'm going to say that the second place team is going to be Wales. I think Wales are going to finish second. We are due a Gareth Bale masterclass. I know his form at club level has not been the best in 2022, but he still shows up when it matters. This is a guy who scored in about 7 finals. This is a guy that even in that loan spell with Tottenham, where they didn't have the best end to the season, he clutched up with 2 goals to get them European football at the rival's expense. He still scored a clutch goal in the MLS Cup final just a few weeks back to take LAFC to penalties where they would eventually win. That clutch factor is still in Gareth Bale, and I think we are due a masterclass from Gareth Bale in this World Cup. Third, I'm going to go with Iran, and fourth, I'm going to go with the U.S. I really think this is time up for Greg Berhalter. I think finally now, his lack of tactics, his lack of a tactical analysis is finally going to be exposed in this World Cup, and I think the U.S., because of that, they will be the flops of this World Cup. Group C, Argentina, Saudi Arabia, Mexico, Poland. Let's not even get us off here. Argentina. Now, at the time of recording, they've actually just lost to Saudi Arabia, but I still expect Argentina to get, to still advance. And keep in mind, I still have to use my predictions from the ones I made before World Cup, the ones that I've written down my notes that I keep turning my head to refer to. Second, I have Mexico's 7 World Cup curse ending because Poland advanced over them. There's been a lot of questions about the coach coming into the World Cup for Mexico. The squad selection has been very questionable. Santiago Jimenez making it was something that really angered the Mexican fans. Same thing as Diego Lainez. There's been a lot of questions over the Mexican squad, and the manager has been under pressure for quite a while. And I think that he won't be able to, he won't be able to withstand the pressure. I think his time is coming, just like Greg Berhalter. He'll finish third in the World Cup. And even though Saudi Arabia have beaten Argentina, I think they'll still lose to Poland and Mexico. And I think this is how the group will finish. So even though Saudi Arabia have had a great start, they still will finish last in this group. Group D, France, Denmark, Tunisia, and Australia. The World Cup curse has been documented. Since France won the World Cup in 1998, I think it's either 4 of the last 5 or 5 out of the last... 4 out of the last 5 World Cup winners have eliminated in the group stage. The only one that has been able to withstand the World Cup curse is Brazil, who I think still reached the quarterfinals in 2006. It was the quarters and semis. I'm not sure. So, Brazil are the only team that have been able to not be affected by the World Cup curse. France were the team that started this whole World Cup curse. Will they end it? Well, I don't think they'll end it finishing top of the group, because I have Denmark finishing there. Denmark are one of the most informed teams in world football. This is a team that I think is well, they're not really going under the radar, but in terms of the chance of winning the World Cup as a whole, I think it's going a little bit under the radar. I think a lot of people think Denmark will do very well in this World Cup, but I think they legitimately have a shot of winning this whole thing. I think the Denmark team, that togetherness that they have, the world-class creativity of Christian Eriksen, I think it can take them very far in this World Cup. Quite similar to, the Croatia team of the last World Cup. It's not as good as the Croatian team, but that togetherness, that world-class creativity, I really think it can take Denmark very far. And I actually do have them finishing on top over France. But I do think France won the World Cup curse. I do think they'll finish second. Because a lot of the teams that, the teams that got eliminated from the World Cup in 2010 all the teams had a team that at least looked like that if they tried hard enough, they could actually get an upset against, that big dog, that World Cup defending champion. I don't believe in Australia or Tunisia like that. Speaking of Tunisia, I'm going to put them third. Now, Tunisia, when you look at the names on that team, you would think this is one of the worst teams in the World Cup. But Tunisia, whenever they play together, they have this, team power kind of thing, if you get what I'm saying. They are much better as a unit than they are as individuals. And when they play together, they just become exponentially better. So I think that'll happen again. They'll get maybe about 3 points in this group. I think they could grind out a famous win versus Australia. And yeah, they'll finish third in this group. And fourth, I have Australia, who have suffered a massive decline in terms of footballing quality over the last, half decade or so. And I think they're very lucky to be here anyway. So, yeah, I think, I'm sorry for the Aussies. I think you are finishing bottom. Now, Group E, Spain, Costa Rica, Germany, and Japan. Now, Spain have been talked about as a potential team to win the World Cup. Same thing with Germany. Luis Enrique, I think, in my opinion, is the best manager at this World Cup, point blank. There's not a better manager than him at this World Cup. But I think out of every single manager in this World Cup, his squad selection has been the most questioned. Not including De Gea in the 55-man squad is a joke. Pure and simple, it is a joke. Even not including him in the 26-man squad, that's something that would rile fans up. But not including the 59-man squad, it's disrespectful. It really is disrespectful from Luis Enrique. And there have been a lot of other questionable decisions, such as leaving Thiago Alcantara out, Gerard Moreno. There's been so many other questionable decisions made by Luis Enrique in his squad selection. But you could also have said the same thing before the Euros. And Spain ended up reaching the semifinals of the Euros, just a penalty shootout away from reaching the final of the Euros. And I will say that they played better than Italy in that semifinal. So, who knows? Costa Rica, it's not the Costa Rica team of, well, the Costa Rica team actually has become old. Because the same 4 players that were their best players in 2014, I'm referring to Brian Ruiz, Keylor Navas, Joe Campbell, Excelsior Borges. Those 4 players were the best 4 players in 2014. Are probably still their best 4 players right now. So, sounds looking good for Costa Rica. Germany have a very, very good team going to this World Cup. So many great personnel. Joshua Kimmich, Serge Gnabry, Jamal Musiala, a youngster from Bayern Munich. Manuel Neuer is aging like a fine wine. There's other, newbies in there. Jonas Hoffman, Schlotterbeck. All these guys. Germany have a very good squad going into the World Cup. But the only thing that Germany, I think, really are missing, maybe similar to Spain, is an out-and-out recognized senior striker that is clinical. They don't have a senior striker point blank with Timo Werner being out of the World Cup. I think their most out-and-out striker that they have in the World Cup, if I can think off the top of my head, is Yusuf Moukoko, who is actually the youngest player at this tournament. But with that being said, how do I think this group is going to finish? Oh, I forgot actually. I didn't talk about Japan. Japan are a team that I think has the potential to be a dark horse. It's a very good Japan team, and I think the main difference maker going into this World Cup for Japan will be Daichi Kamada, a guy who has proven in the Champions League and in the Bundesliga this season he has the capability to score from midfield, and I think it's only going to be a matter of time before he gets linked to a big move. There's also other Japanese players that I think you can watch out for, like, Takehiro Tomiyasu and Takafuse Kubo. So, who do I think is going to finish, or how do I think this group's going to go? I think Germany are going to finish first. I have Spain finishing third, Japan finishing second, and Costa Rica finishing fourth. Now, I ain't going to lie to you, there's no logic in Spain finishing second. I am preying on this Spain downfall. As a Manchester United fan, not seeing David Sexton as a Ghana enthusiast or being from Ghana, wanting Nico Williams to represent us. The fact I'm seeing Nico Williams represent Spain at the World Cup, it hurts a little bit. And him not picking Gerard Moreno, who I think would probably have been the best finisher for the Spain squad going into the World Cup. I don't get that decision either. So for that reason, as much as I like Luis Enrique, and I credit him for producing my favorite team of all time, the Barcelona 2014-15 team. I'm praying on his and Spain's downfall in this World Cup. So there's no logic going into this prediction. It's just straight heart, and I hope this comes true. Now, Group F, Belgium, Canada, Morocco, Croatia. This is a very, very hard group to predict. Belgium, obviously, they finished third at the 2018 World Cup. The team, it looks like this is the last chance for a golden generation of Belgium. And while they still have the likes of, your Kevin De Bruyne's, your Romelu Lukaku's, and all those things, and they have some good talents coming through, like Yuri Tillemans, Carlos de Ketelaere, Jeremy Doku, all these guys. That defense is piss poor. That defense is awful. And I shouldn't be saying that, considering that they have the likes of Toby Alderweireld and Jan Vertonghen. Two arguably world-class defenders in their day, but I think they're... Oh my god, sorry. They are 34 and 35 respectively, and have been on a massive decline since the 2018 World Cup. So that defense is going to be piss poor. The real game changer for Belgium is not going to be the attacking talents of Ken De Bruyne or Romelu Lukaku. It's going to be Thibaut Courtois in goal. Belgium has the best keeper in the World Cup, the best keeper in the world, point blank, and who was actually voted as the best keeper in the World Cup, last World Cup in 2018 as Belgium finished third. Thibaut Courtois is going to be vital for Belgium if they are to do anything in this World Cup, or even if they can get out of the group, because if Thibaut Courtois puts in, a subpar shift in the World Cup, I can easily see Belgium getting grouped. Canada, I feel like they're just happy to be there. Like, this is their first World Cup since 1986. That's the only World Cup they qualified for. They finished fourth in their group, did not score a single goal, and I think they conceded 11 goals, if I remember well, or something like that. This is Canada's golden generation. They're coming with some great players. Obviously, the main headline players are Alphonso Davies and Jonathan David, but there's other good players in that squad as well, like Buchanan, Lyron. There's the captain, Hutchinson, who's actually one of the oldest players of the World Cup in 39. And the fact that he's actually held on this long to make it to a promising with the Canadian national team, I'm so happy for him. And Morocco, obviously, they've just got a new coach. Hakim Ziyech, as a result of them getting a new coach, is back in the Moroccan fold. So are a couple other Moroccan players. And normally I would say switching your head coach a few months before a major tournament is not the best idea. With Morocco, I actually think it's quite a good thing, because there's a lot of players that got into disagreements with the coach and refused to play for the national team. Obviously, the big one is Hakim Ziyech. But I think with a new coach, it's a new environment for this Moroccan national team. And a lot of good players that were in this Moroccan national team that stopped playing for the coach are back now. And Croatia, obviously, finalists of the 2018 World Cup, they're kind of at a weird crossroads now. Yes, the team is getting older, but there's also a good amount of young players coming through this Croatian team as well. The best player is still Luka Modric, who is just aging like a fine wine. And I think at this point, he has to start being talked about as one of, if not maybe even the greatest midfielder of all time. I think he's done enough to warrant a place in that debate. I don't know. But how do I think his group is going to finish? Belgium, Canada, Morocco, Croatia. I think, despite their woes, despite the potential that everything could go wrong for them, I still think the attacking talent of Belgium will get on top. And I think Thibaut Courtois has proven time and time again he can do it in the big stage. Whether it be the last World Cup, last year's Champions League, well, actually this year's Champions League final. He's done it time and time again on the big stage. Second place, I have Morocco going second. I think Morocco had the potential to go second. Hakim Ziyech is going to feel like a man reborn in this national team now that he's back. He's going to feel like he has a point to prove and everything like that. Obviously, with his club form not being the best and everything like that. Achraf Hakimi, we all know how good that guy is. But the game changer that I think who can actually really change the game for Morocco, if they are to do well, will be Youssef El Nesyri. He has not been in great form since he had that 24-goal season in 2021. But he did show at the AFCON that he can turn it on when he needs to. So I think if Youssef El Nesyri can really, hone in on this World Cup, then Morocco can finish second. Even if he doesn't hone in, I think Hakim Ziyech and Ashraf Hakimi have proven time and time again that they themselves have goals in them that can get them out of trouble, as Ashraf Hakimi proved last year in AFCON, scoring 2 vital goals, one of them being one of the best free kicks I've ever seen to get Morocco out of the group. Not just out of the group, but to finish first in the group as well in AFCON. Third, I have Croatia. And fourth, I have Canada. I just don't think Canada have enough, and I think they're just going to be happy to be there. Croatia, I think it'll be very close between them and Morocco. I actually think it'll come out down to goal difference, but I think Morocco will just advance at the expense of Croatia. Group G, Brazil, Serbia, Switzerland, and Cameroon. I actually don't think I need to waste too much time in this group. I'm just going to give you my prediction straight. Yeah. I have Brazil first, Serbia second, Switzerland third, and Cameroon fourth. Brazil, on paper, they are the best team coming into this World Cup. Neymar looks like he's a man on a mission. That whole team is just... It's just star power all around. And Neymar, Vinicius, Casemiro, Rodrigo, Rafinha, Fred. No, I'm joking. Fred actually plays very well for the national team. Alisson. There's so much star power around this team. There's way too much in this team to not finish first in this group. And also, we've kind of seen this group play out in 2018. The only difference is that we had Costa Rica instead of Cameroon. The only difference I have from the 2018 World Cup is that I have Serbia finishing above Switzerland. The main reason why I have Serbia finishing above Switzerland is because I think this Serbia team is it's very dangerous, and Alexander Mitrovic is in the form of his life right now. He really is. And him partnering up on top of Dusan Vlahovic, getting service from the likes of Tadic and Kostic, I think this Serbia team really has what it takes. And I think as an independent nation, this will be the first time Serbia ever makes it out of the group stage. Switzerland are a team that always seems to turn up in, tournaments and stuff like that. Somehow they made it out of the group stage in last year's Euros and beat France, the defending world champions, the favorites to win the Euros, on penalties and made a comeback in that game to get to penalties. Switzerland always seems to have this magic at an international tournament. And I think that magic will prevent them from finishing fourth, but I think it's just one tournament too many for the Swiss national team. And Group H, Portugal, Ghana, Uruguay, and South Korea. If you ask me, I actually think this is the group of death. I think this, along with Group B, is the group of death. I really do. These are all four teams that are very good and are capable of, causing upsets at each other's expense. But how do I think this group's going to go? First of all, let's talk about the teams. Portugal, obviously, on paper, one of the best national teams coming to the World Cup. The main question mark is going to be their coach and how CR7 will perform regarding everything that's going on with him at United, the interview that's come out and everything like that. Ghana are actually the lowest ranked team coming into this World Cup, and he's effectively going to blow your mind. Statistically, since 2010, Ghana has actually suffered the biggest decline in terms of FIFA rankings in the history of FIFA rankings. They were 23rd in 2010 going into the World Cup. They are now 61 going into this World Cup. They are in 61st place. How is that possible? Well, I think part of the reason why their rankings did so badly is because how poor they were in AFCON, finishing last in their group, losing a decisive game to advance versus Comoros. And they barely squeaked past Nigeria in qualifying. But Ghana are here. We know that they have the capabilities to turn up in this World Cup. They've added some new recruits like Mohamed Salisu, Tyreek Lamptey, Inaki Williams, to name a few. So, this Ghana team, they have the potential. Uruguay, obviously, now finally under a new coach, since their legendary coach, I forgot what his name is, I think it's Oscar Tabarez or something like that, was fired after their lackluster start in World Cup qualifying. But they're here, they're back in the World Cup, and obviously it's going to be a revenge match between them and Ghana. And Ghana also has a bone to pick with Portugal as well, because Portugal were the ones who were eliminated out of the World Cup in 2014. And I don't want to forget, Portugal also have a bone to pick with Uruguay as well, because Uruguay eliminated Portugal out of the 2018 World Cup. And South Korea, another good team there. Son Heung-min is going to be the big difference maker. But Kim Min-jae is another player I'd watch out for in defense. An absolutely sensational defender. Been one of the best center backs in the world this season. So how do I think this group is going to finish? Well, I have Portugal finishing first, Uruguay second, Ghana third, and Korea fourth. I really would like to put my faith in Ghana to finish second in this group. I would love that to happen. But I think Portugal and Uruguay have way too much for Ghana. And I know Uruguay going to this World Cup are seen as the better team between them and Portugal because, they have a coach that, seems to have some tactical nous in them. But I think with Portugal's coach's experience in the World Cup, I think that'll actually work to Fernando Santos' advantage. Him having experience in this World Cup and their managers, Uruguay's manager, not being experienced in the World Cup. And I think because of that, I do think Portugal, as a result, will finish on top of Uruguay, if you get what I'm saying. All right? So those are my group predictions, all right? We're going to predict the knockout rounds. If I can click it. How do I... Oh, there it is. So my knockout rounds. And thanks to this feature, I can actually predict the score as well for knockout rounds. So here are the view of all the knockout stage ties that I have. We have Netherlands versus Wales, Argentina versus France, Germany versus Morocco, Brazil versus Uruguay, England versus Senegal, Denmark versus Poland, Belgium versus Japan, and Portugal versus Serbia. Now let's start with Netherlands versus Wales. I think this is where the road ends for Netherlands. Similar to Denmark in the World Cup, I think Netherlands have way too much for them. I have Netherlands advancing. I think I remember if I did this box well, you can predict the score. Do I have to do that after I put all my predictions in? Alright. Oh, there it is. Pick score. The score for this game, I think, will be 2-1. I think Netherlands win this game 2-1. And they advance. Argentina versus France. A rematch of the 2018 round of 16 France, obviously the World Cup champions. They dumped Argentina out of the World Cup. But I don't think it will be the same this time. I think Argentina get their revenge. And I'll say it'll be somewhat convincing as well. I'm going to go for a 3-1 win between them and France. I think Argentina will beat France 3-1. Germany versus Morocco. As good as the Moroccan national team are, I'm going to go for Germany to win. My score, I'm going to go with a 4-1. I'll go 4-1. I'll go with a 4-1 Germany win. Actually, you know what? Now I think about it, I don't think Morocco would get a goal against... I'm going to go 3-0, actually. I'll do 3-0. I don't think Morocco would get a goal against Germany. I'm sorry. I'm going with a 3-0 Germany win. Brazil versus Uruguay. This is going to be a close game. I'm going for Brazil to win. I don't think they'll do it in 90 minutes, to be fair. I think this game will go to extra time. But, seeing how tense this game will be, I think Brazil would win this 2-1 in extra time. So I have Germany and Brazil in the quarterfinals. England versus Senegal. When I originally did this predictor, the first time I simulated it, I actually had Senegal beating England. But I think with Sadio Mane being out, I think now they'll catch up to them. And I see England beating Senegal. My score, I'm going to go for a 2-1 England win. I think this game would be 2-1. Denmark versus Poland. I think Denmark have too much for Poland. I really do. And I think Denmark will win somewhat convincingly as well. I'm going to go for a 2-0 Denmark win. I don't think Lewandowski is going to score. Belgium versus Japan. We saw this match in the 2018 World Cup. I've already clicked on it. I think that have the same outcome. I actually think, despite that, I think I think Belgium will win a bit more convincingly. I'm going to go 3-1 this time. I'm going to go with a 3-1 Belgium win. Portugal versus Serbia. This one is going to be a tough match. Serbia, potentially dark horses. They actually beat Portugal to qualify for the World Cup automatically at Portugal's expense. I think they're going to get revenge this time. It's going to be Portugal to win. They'll win very narrowly. I'm going to go for a 1-0 Portugal win. Quarterfinals. I'm just seeing how you guys can see the screen. I'm just checking back on the recording. Quarterfinals. We have Netherlands versus Argentina, Germany versus Brazil, England versus Denmark, and Belgium versus Portugal. And a fun fact, all these matches are either rematches from the last year of the Euros or the 2014 World Cup knockout rounds. That's a sensational fact right there. So, actually, the top two on this side of the bracket, if you can see my mouse, these two are rematches from 2014 World Cup semifinals. And this is a rematch from the last year's Euro semifinals, and this was a round of 16 matchup. That's something cool. Netherlands versus Argentina, I think it'll have the same outcome as the time before. I don't think this time it will take penalty shootouts. I think it'll be one. I'm going to go 2-1 Argentina. I think this is going to be 2-1 Argentina. Germany versus Brazil. This is going to be a very entertaining match. And will Germany get revenge? Sorry, will Brazil get revenge, or will it be a repeat for Germany? Well, I'm going to go revenge. I got revenge here. I think Brazil are going to get revenge in this match. And I got a 2-3 Brazil win. I think Brazil win this 3-2. It's going to be an entertaining match. England versus Denmark. Will it be revenge or repeat in this match? I'm going to go for revenge again, too. I think there's going to be a couple of revenge arcs. And this is going to be a very close match. Oh, sorry. It's going to be a very close match. I have a 2-1 Denmark win. I got a 2-1 Denmark win. And Belgium versus Portugal. Will it be revenge? Will it be repeat? I feel like these are two teams which, the problems that are preventing them from potential greatness are outlined very clearly. Belgium, obviously, the defense could very well be what's their downfall. And Portugal, their coach can be what it is. But, I don't know. I really don't know if this one. Belgium just squeaked past Portugal in the round of 16s, and the teams are primarily the same from that time. I'm so confused on who I'd go with on this one. I'm going to go Portugal. I think Portugal gets their revenge as well. And I think this would be... No, I'm going to go 2-0. I think it's going to be a 2-0 Portugal win. Denmark versus Portugal and Argentina versus Brazil. Ooh, what a matchup we have here. Ooh, wow. This is going to feel like the final. This is going to feel like a final. This match... There's not really any animosity between Denmark and Portugal. It's just going to be another match. But this is going to feel like a final. Argentina-Brazil is going to feel like a final. So, two biggest rivalries in South America. Potentially the two biggest rivalries in international football. One of the biggest rivalries in sports in general. Argentina versus Brazil. Brazil beat Argentina in the 2019 Copa America semifinals as they went on to win the final. Argentina beat them last year in the Copa America final to win Copa America. And Brazil finished ahead of Argentina in World Cup qualifying. But how do I think this match will go? Well, I think Argentina are going to do it. I think Argentina are going to do it. I don't think they'll do it in 90. I have a 3-2 Argentina win. And they'll do it in extra time. I think they'll do it in extra time. Denmark versus Portugal. This Denmark are a team that I think, coaching-wise, they're probably better off than Portugal coaching-wise. But that Portugal squad, though, will Cristiano Ronaldo be able to carry Portugal farther? Well, can he carry them to the final? You know what? I'm gonna go for destiny. I feel like it's destined for them to meet. Denmark versus Portugal. I think Portugal will beat Denmark. I'm going to go for a still 1-0 win. This will be the most Portugal way of winning. It's going to be a stale 1-0 win for the Portuguese. And the World Cup final. Forget what I said about this feeling like a final. This is going to be arguably the greatest sporting matchup of all time. GOAT versus GOAT. The whole world is going to be watching. A match, regardless of the results, is going to cause a riot somewhere. This match is going to be the most hotly contested, hotly debated match ever. Argentina versus Portugal. Messi versus Ronaldo. Who wins? Well, I actually think this squad is not going to come. This score is not going to come down to Messi versus Ronaldo. It's going to come more down to their team. Portugal might have the better personnel on the team, but Argentina had the better team chemistry, and they had the better manager. So who's going to win? Argentina or Portugal? Well, just like my stance in the GOAT debate, I'm going to go with Argentina and Lionel Messi. I think Argentina are going to win this game. And the score, I think it's going to be a very tense affair. I'm going to go with a 2-1 Argentina win. So this is my World Cup bracket. I'm not a YouTube user. I'm not going to click that. So that's what I have. So at the end, I have Argentina beating Portugal 2-1 in the World Cup final for Messi to finally get his hands on the trophy that has eluded him. So those are my World Cup predictions. I've done a part 2 of my World Cup predictions on TikTok, which should be up right now, where I predicted the top score, the flops, everything like that, dark horses. So if you want to see that, go to my TikTok. Go follow my TikTok. The link always will be in the bio like it always is. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a like, share, and subscribe. Do not actually use these bracket predictions to make, your actual predictions, in the pub and everything like that. Do not make betting. Do not use these predictions, for betting and stuff like that, because, look, these are going to be 100% wrong. I'm telling you right now. But I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Yeah, guys. Peace.